Hello everyone, welcome to my channel B&B CBS Gossip 24. Bridget declares she is also pregnant when Electra prevents her from sharing the findings of the DNA test. B&B spoilers. Luna's heart hammered. She stared at the envelope like it might burst into flames. Her mother's voice echoed in her head. No matter what happens, Luna, you must remember who you are. But who was she anymore? Bill Spencer leaned forward, his diamond cufflinks catching the light. Let's stop dragging this out, he said sharply. We all deserve to know the truth. Bridget inhaled deeply. These DNA results will determine who fathered Luna's baby, she said quietly. And once I say it aloud, there's no going back. The door swung open before she could continue. All eyes turned. It was Electra. She looked breathtaking and wild, her golden hair tumbling down her shoulders, her green eyes flashing with defiance. Don't say another word, Bridget, she ordered, stepping inside and slamming the door behind her. Bridget froze. Electra, what are you doing? You can't reveal those results, Electra said, her voice trembling between fear and resolve. Because everything changes after what I have to say. Scene 2, the shocking confession. Finn stood up, confused. Electra, this isn't about you. Oh, isn't it? She shot back, glaring at him. You all think this is some neat little triangle, Luna, Bill, and a DNA test. But you're missing the fourth corner of this twisted puzzle. Luna's eyes widened. What are you talking about? Electra took a deep breath, her hands instinctively brushing her abdomen. I'm pregnant. The room went utterly silent. Bill's jaw tightened. You, what? Electra nodded, tears welling up. Pregnant. And before anyone starts assuming, I'll make one thing clear, I don't know who the father is. Luna staggered back as if struck. You don't know? Don't you dare judge me, Luna, Electra snapped. You're not exactly in a position to talk about complicated relationships, are you? Bridget placed the envelope down on the table, whispering, Oh, dear God. Scene 3, the fallout begins. Bill rose slowly, his temper barely contained. So let me get this straight, he growled. We're dealing with 2 pregnancies and 2 possible fathers, and somehow I'm connected to both. Electra glared at him. You're not the only powerful man in LA, Bill. Maybe you should consider the fact that your son will has a life you don't control anymore. Luna gasped. Are you saying? Yes, Electra said coldly. It could be Will's baby. Or yours, Bill. The same way Luna's baby could belong to Will, or to someone else entirely. Finn rubbed his temples, feeling the ground tilt beneath him. This is insane. Bridget, can't we just look at the results and clear one mess at least? Bridget hesitated. I can't, not ethically. Electra's announcement could affect everything. If both pregnancies overlap, the tests might share genetic markers. I need to verify the chain of custody. Bill's patience snapped. You're protecting someone. Who? Bridget turned sharply. I'm protecting the truth, Bill. Something you've spent your entire life trying to manipulate. Scene 4, Luna's breaking point. Luna stood, her voice cracking. All of this started because of me. I didn't ask for any of it. I just wanted answers. Finn looked at her, torn between anger and compassion. Luna, you kept too many secrets. You've dragged everyone into your spiral. Dragged, she cried. You think I wanted to be in this situation? To have people whispering that I'm carrying your brother's child? Or your father's? Her words hit the room like an explosion. Bridget's hands flew to her mouth. Bill stared at her in horror. My brother's child, he echoed. Luna, what are you saying? Luna's voice broke. When I went to that charity gala, I didn't know Will was even back in town. Everything got out of control. I was hurting, confused, and then, she couldn't finish. Electra crossed her arms, her expression softening for a split second. You think you're the only one who made a mistake, Luna? I was lonely too. You know what it's like, feeling invisible. Luna wiped her tears. That doesn't justify anything. No, Electra whispered, but it explains it. Scene 5, Bridget's dilemma. Bridget looked at the envelope again. Her doctor's ethics were warring with her heart. If I reveal these results now, she said softly, I might destroy lives that don't need to be destroyed. Finn stepped closer. Bridget, the truth always comes out. Sooner or later. Maybe, she said, but sometimes it comes out too soon. Bill slammed his hand on the table. I've had enough of this. If you won't tell us, I'll find someone who will. I'll have those results tested again at another lab. Don't you dare, Bridget snapped. That envelope is hospital property and part of a confidential case. You can't just take it because your ego demands control. Electra smirked. Seems like control is the one thing Bill Spencer can't buy anymore. He turned on her, his voice dark and low. You think you can manipulate me with a pregnancy? Think again. If you're carrying my child, you'd better pray I never find out you're lying. Scene 6. The secret meeting. Later that night, Bridget met Finn privately in her office. The envelope still sat between them, unopened. Why didn't you reveal the results? Finn asked quietly. Bridget sighed. Because they're not as clear as you think. He frowned. What do you mean? I ran the tests twice, she confessed. And both times, the results indicated tampering. Someone switched one of the samples. Finn's blood ran cold. Switched? You're saying the paternity results are fake? I'm saying, Bridget replied carefully, someone didn't want the truth coming out. And now, with Electra's pregnancy thrown into the mix, everything's compromised. Who would do that? Finn demanded. Bridget hesitated, then met his eyes. Ask yourself who has the most to lose if Luna's baby turns out to be Will's, or yours. Finn's face went pale. Bill. Scene 7. The confrontation. The next morning, Electra arrived at Spencer Publications, dressed in sleek black. Bill was waiting in his office, scotch in hand. Came to gloat, he asked. She closed the door. No. I came to tell you something. Bill raised an eyebrow. This should be good. Electra took a deep breath. You want the truth? I didn't come here to ruin anyone's life. I came because I was scared. When I found out I was pregnant, I panicked. I thought maybe you'd help me. You always said you protect what's yours. Bill stared at her, something almost human flickering behind his eyes. You think I could be the father? I don't know, she said softly. But if it's not you, then it's Will. Either way, you'd be a grandfather or a father again. The glass in his hand cracked under his grip. You're playing with fire, Electra. Maybe, she said, turning toward the door. But fire's all anyone ever notices in this family. Scene 8. Luna's decision. Meanwhile, Luna sat alone at the beach house, staring at the waves. Her phone buzzed. Bridget. Luna, Bridget said quietly, I need to tell you something. The test results were tampered with. Luna's eyes widened. Tampered? By who? I can't be sure, Bridget admitted. But I believe it was Bill. You need to be careful. Luna's voice trembled. So the father could still be Will. Yes, Bridget said. Or someone else entirely. Luna hung up, feeling the ground vanish beneath her. All her fears, her shame, her confusion, it was all for nothing, and yet it was everything. She looked toward the ocean and whispered, I can't keep living like this. Behind her, a voice spoke. Then stop hiding. She turned, and gasped. It was Electra. You should be careful walking in here uninvited, Luna said coldly. Electra stepped closer. You think I want to fight? I came to tell you the truth. I stopped Bridget because the DNA results would have destroyed you. Bill made me. He told me to cause a distraction. Luna blinked. He what? Electra's eyes filled with tears. He threatened me, Luna. He said if I didn't stop Bridget, he'd make sure no one believed I was pregnant, that he'd bury my career and reputation. Luna covered her mouth. So, this whole thing was a setup, Electra whispered. Bill's covering something much bigger. Scene 9. The final twist. Back at Forrester, Bridget sat in her office, rerunning the data one more time. Suddenly, her computer beeped. She stared at the screen in disbelief. Oh my God, she whispered. It's not possible. The true paternity results flashed before her eyes. The DNA didn't match Bill. It didn't match Will. It matched someone else. Finn. She grabbed her phone and called him, but before she could speak, a shadow fell across the doorway. Bill stood there, eyes cold. You weren't supposed to find that. Bill, she said, her voice trembling, you switched the samples. He smiled darkly. You think I'd let the world find out that my son's been sleeping with Luna? That she's carrying his child? Bridget's pulse pounded. You're sick. No, he said calmly. I'm a father protecting his family. You'll destroy everything if you release that result. He turned to leave, but Bridget's voice stopped him cold. It's too late. I already sent them to the hospital archives. For the first time, Bill's composure cracked. You'll regret that, he said quietly, before walking away. Scene 10, Cliffhanger. Later that night, at the Cliff House, Luna sat with Finn. She didn't know what Bridget had just discovered. She only knew her heart was breaking. I'm tired, Finn, she said softly. Tired of secrets. Of being everyone's scandal. Finn reached for her hand, conflicted. You're stronger than you think. But am I? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. Because every time I think I've escaped, someone pulls me back into their mess. He squeezed her hand. Then maybe we should both stop letting them. Outside, lightning flashed over the ocean, a storm brewing both literally and metaphorically. And somewhere in Los Angeles, Electra clutched her stomach, whispering to her unborn child. Luna's pregnant, Bridget murmured. And the father is. Her voice trailed off as she looked at the name glowing on the screen. Will Spencer. Bridget's heart pounded. She'd expected it, but seeing it confirmed was different. The realization carried weight, not just for Luna, but for the Spencer family, and for Will himself. Will was barely finding his footing as a young executive, stepping out from under Bill Spencer's powerful shadow. If this news came out, his career, reputation, and future could implode overnight. Bridget whispered to herself, he doesn't deserve this. A knock at the door startled her. It was Luna, her face pale but determined. Bridget, she said softly, you have the results, don't you? Please tell me. Bridget swallowed hard, torn between truth and protection. Yes, she said quietly, closing the laptop. I have them. But I think we need to talk before I say anything. Scene 2, the confession. Luna took a deep breath, her fingers nervously twisting her bracelet. I need to know, Bridget. I have to be prepared, for myself, for the baby. Bridget studied her. Luna looked fragile but resolute, a woman ready to face consequences, whatever they were. The results are complicated, Bridget said slowly. They show inconsistencies. Luna frowned. Inconsistencies? What do you mean? It means the father could be Will, Bridget said carefully, but it's not conclusive. The sample might have been contaminated. We might need to run the test again. That was a lie, a calculated, deliberate one. Bridget felt guilt crawl up her spine. But she told herself she was doing the right thing. Will was young, and Bill Spencer's wrath was dangerous. If Luna's pregnancy became public, it could destroy both men in different ways. Luna's voice trembled. So, it might not be Will's. Bridget forced a sympathetic smile. It's possible. There are other possibilities. Luna's eyes filled with tears. I thought I'd finally have clarity. Bridget reached across the desk and took her hand. Sometimes, Luna, clarity isn't what you think it is. Sometimes it's safer not to know, at least for now. Scene 3, the Spencer mansion. Meanwhile, Will Spencer paced in his father's study. Bill watched him from behind his desk, a smirk playing on his lips. You look like a man with something to hide, Bill said. Will spun around. I don't have anything to hide. Oh, come on, Bill teased. You've been edgy for weeks. You barely show up at Spencer Publications. You've been avoiding meetings, and Luna. Will clenched his jaw. Luna and we made mistakes, Dad. But that's over. Bill leaned back in his chair. Mistakes have consequences, son. You think Luna's just going to disappear? That girl's a walking scandal waiting to blow up in your face. Will's expression hardened. Don't talk about her like that. Bill stood, his voice lowering. Then tell me what's going on. Will hesitated. He thought about the night he and Luna shared, the impulsive decision, the emotional chaos that followed. He thought about the possibility that she could be pregnant. Nothing, he said finally. There's nothing going on. Bill studied him for a long moment. You're lying, he said softly. Scene 4, Bridget's secret. Later that evening, Bridget sat alone in her office, replaying her lie in her head. You did it for the right reason, she told herself. You protected Will. But part of her couldn't shake the guilt. When her phone buzzed, she glanced down. Message from Will. Did Luna come to you? Did she get the results? Bridget typed quickly. Yes. I didn't tell her everything. I said the results were inconclusive. We need to talk. A few minutes later, Will walked into her office, looking exhausted. Thank you, he said immediately. For not telling her. Bridget exhaled. You need to understand, this can't stay buried forever. If Luna finds out I lied, it'll destroy her. Will looked away. She'll destroy me first. Will, Bridget started, but he cut her off. I didn't mean to hurt her, he said. It wasn't supposed to go that far. We were both emotional. She thought she'd been betrayed by everyone, Finn, Bill, even her mother. I was just trying to help her. Bridget nodded, understanding. And now you might be the father of her baby. He nodded, voice breaking. Yeah. She placed a hand on his shoulder. Then you'd better figure out how to make peace with that, because secrets like this don't stay buried in this town. Scene 5, Luna's doubts. At the beach house, Luna stared out at the ocean. Her mother, Poppy, entered quietly. You've been quiet all day, Poppy said. What did Bridget say? Luna turned, her eyes distant. She said the results weren't clear. That the test might have been contaminated. Poppy frowned. That doesn't sound right. Bridget's one of the best doctors in Los Angeles. I know, Luna said softly. That's what scares me. I think she's hiding something. Poppy sat beside her daughter. Do you really think Will could be the father? Luna's lip trembled. I don't know, Mom. But if he is, Bill will never let me live it down. And Finn. Her voice broke. Poppy took her hand. Then you have to be careful. The Spencers are powerful. If Bridget's protecting them, you're going to have to protect yourself. Luna nodded slowly. Then I'll get a new test. Secretly. This time, no one will interfere. Scene 6, the setup. The next morning, Luna met with Bridget again. I want another test, Luna said firmly. Bridget froze. Another test. Yes, Luna said. A new lab. New samples. I'll pay whatever it takes. Bridget forced a smile. That's unnecessary, Luna. I promise I'll sort out the inconsistencies. But Luna shook her head. I can't wait, Bridget. I need the truth, whatever it is. Bridget's stomach dropped. She realized her lie was about to unravel. Just then, the office door opened. Will walked in. Luna, he said softly. Her heart clenched. Will, what are you doing here? We need to talk, he said, his eyes flicking nervously toward Bridget. Alone. Luna crossed her arms. Now's not the time. But Will didn't back down. It is. Because whatever Bridget told you, it wasn't the full story. Scene 7, the confrontation. Bridget froze. Will. He ignored her. You deserve to know the truth, Luna. I didn't want to keep lying. Luna's eyes filled with confusion. What truth? Bridget tried to intervene. Will, don't. But Will turned to Luna and said the words that shattered everything. The baby's mine. Luna's breath caught. Yours. Bridget's heart sank. Will nodded. I saw the results. I made Bridget promise not to tell you. I didn't want you to feel trapped, or to think I'd ruin your life. Luna backed away, tears streaming down her cheeks. So you both lied to me? You thought you could decide what's best for me? Bridget stepped forward. Luna, please. I was trying to protect you both. By lying, she cried. Do you have any idea what that does to someone, to think they might never know who their child's father is? Will's voice cracked. I'm sorry. I just wanted to fix this before it destroyed everything. It already has, Luna said bitterly. Scene 8, Bill's fury. That evening, Bill Spencer stormed into Bridget's office. You lied to my son, he thundered. You covered up a paternity result. Bridget stood her ground. I was trying to protect him. Protect him? Bill barked. You've made him look weak, like some scared boy who needs his daddy's empire to save him. And now Luna's going to drag my family name through the mud. Bridget snapped. Maybe if you spent less time controlling everyone and more time listening, none of this would have happened. Bill's eyes narrowed. You've just made an enemy you can't afford, Bridget. He turned and stormed out, leaving Bridget shaking. Scene 9, The Fallout. Luna sat in her car outside the hospital, staring at the new envelope in her hand. The results from a private lab. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Her breath caught. The result was the same. Will Spencer was the father. Tears filled her eyes, but this time, they weren't from confusion, they were from fury. They lied, she whispered. They both lied to my face. She picked up her phone and called a reporter from Eye on Fashion LA. This is Luna Nozawa, she said. I have a story, and the Spencers won't see it coming. Scene 10, Cliffhanger. At Spencer Publications the next morning, chaos erupted. The headlines blared. Will Spencer implicated in secret paternity scandal, Forrester doctor accused of cover-up. Bill slammed the newspaper on his desk. Who leaked this? Will buried his face in his hands. Luna. Bridget walked in, pale but composed. It's out, Bill. The truth's out. Bill's eyes burned with fury. You just destroyed 2 families, Bridget. Hope you're proud. But Bridget didn't flinch. Maybe the truth needed to come out, she said quietly. Even if it destroys us all. Final scene, the aftermath. Outside the Forrester building, Luna stood surrounded by flashing cameras, one hand protectively over her stomach. I was lied to by people I trusted, she said to the reporters. But I won't stay silent anymore. This baby deserves honesty, something this town forgot a long time ago. Inside, Bridget watched the coverage, tears in her eyes. Finn entered, resting a hand on her shoulder. You did what you thought was right. Bridget shook her head. Right doesn't mean painless, Finn. And in this family. She looked toward the screen, where Luna's face filled the frame. The truth is always the most dangerous lie of all.